Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With Rob Flynn.
What up? What up? What up? Podcast party people. How you doing? How you living? How you feeling? Hopefully you're recovering from the last week of crazy insanity. We had Trevor. We lost Trevor on Thursday. We had a white supremacist go on a gun rampage, killing 12 people in Buffalo. 10 people, 12 people. It's fucking horrible. 12 black people went to a predominantly black neighborhood because he believed that in replacement theory. Yeah, that kind of shit. That's what's been going on. It's been a crazy fucking week, man. Full of ups and downs, I can tell you that. And I tell you, on Thursday, I went to Pearl Jam on Thursday, which was much needed after hearing about the news of Trevor. And let me just start by saying, holy fuck, that was awesome. So the day starts out, the show starts out with Eddie Vedder walking up and saying that Matt Cameron, the drummer, caught COVID and can't perform the show. So the opening band drummer learns the set, like half the set. And then they call up, I guess, Jeff Amont, the drummer, the bass player, Jeff Ament. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Calls up this drummer that was basically the dude who demoed the Vitology record for them, I guess. And Eddie told this story during the show. And, you know, this guy kind of quit the music. He might still be playing in music, but he is full-time a professor at San Francisco State. So he calls up this dude who he hasn't talked to in forever. And he's just like, hey, want to come down and play an arena show tonight? And dude's like, yeah, I think I do. And so he comes down and learns. I guess he already knew a bunch of Pearl Jam stuff. Comes out, and not to say anything against the opening drummer, who was also great and played the songs great, but when they brought this dude up, holy shit, this motherfucker was bad ass, dude. He was a fucking beast. Like, he just made these songs come alive. It was crazy. And yeah, it was really cool. And, you know, they had to kind of change the set around because just so you know, I love Pearl Jam. Like, I fucking love Pearl Jam. One of my favorite bands. I've seen them since the 10 album at the Warfield. I saw them opening for the Screaming Trees and Alice in Chains at the I-Beam in San Francisco when they were called Mookie Blaylock. I thought they sucked. I was just like, pfft. And then Rob Cavastani from Death Angel came up to me that night, and he's just like, that band's going to be fucking huge. And I just laughed at him. I was just like, no. And, yeah, he called it. The call of all calls. And, yeah, man, there was just such a good set. So many. Opened with Rockin' in the Free. Keep on rocking in the free world. Close with Yellow Bed Letter, dude. They brought a fan up from the audience to play the drums, tested him for COVID. They're like, oh, you're negative. Okay, get up there. They play Yellow Bed Letter. I'd never seen him play that. I love that fucking song. Total deep cut B-side off of the 10 album era. And, man, so many great songs just in between. It was a really fantastic show. I can't even tell you how much I needed it. And I tell you what, man, like, there's so many little things that the fans do with the bootlegs, and everybody kind of knows these, like the keyboard player's name is Boom, and I guess he used to surf with Eddie Vedder, and now he's in the band, and he's like, he introduces Boom, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Boom, whatever his last name is, and the whole crowd goes Boom, like an arena of people. Like, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, what's going on? They're like, oh, that's the thing. Everybody says Boom. Like certain songs, like Eddie does this fucking left hand, right hand, everybody does it with him. And there was just so many little ins and outs that were cool, and just so many things. Set list was amazing. And the connection they had with the crowd, man. Like, it was electrifying. Only band I know who can sell the seats behind the stage. They have seats behind the fucking stage for sale. They don't have a backdrop. They just got like a little kind of black curtain to curtain off like the amps and the road crew and stuff. But yeah, it was wild. Go to my Instagram and look at the videos that I put up there. Yeah, it was killer. And I got to tell you, man, like I've been going to concerts since August because that's about when we really started opening up and having shows here in California, Northern California. And now it's like crazy. It's been an insane amount of shows, and I go to them, and I haven't, that Pearl Jam show was the first time where I was like, man, I got to get back on stage again. Like, I've got to get on stage and fucking play. Like, I just was so fucking, it was such a thrilling night, man. It was exhilarating. Pearl Jam fucking if you're a Pearl Jam fan, do not miss this tour. It's so fucking good. They were amazing. Amazing. Goosebumps. I got goosebumps 5 or 6 times during the night. Fucking got all up. I was fucking almost crying during Black. I was thinking of fucking Trevor. I was like, Jesus. And yeah. Yeah, it was killer. So good. I did a kind of standalone podcast about Trevor. Got a lot of great feedback from it, man. And a lot of you said what I'd hope you'd say, which was, it's not too soon. James Ray wrote, Trevor was built from a different cloth. The world needs more people like him, and it's a darker place now that he's gone. Give me the amulet. Honestly, man, I can't thank you enough for posting this as soon as you have. I felt disconnected from reality since yesterday afternoon, so seeing people talk about it helps. Black Dahlia Murder's routine of releasing an album every 2 years cemented them as much a part of our lives for nearly 20 years. It was a ritual. Trevor was all of us, the living embodiment of the 15-year-old kid we all are or were. Trevor was a great poet and a musician. The world seems to have less in it because of his passing, wrote Hugo Flores. El Duce wrote, Trevor Strand was absolutely wonderful, kind, and positive ambassador in the heavy metal community. He was truly an amazing soul, and I will miss him dearly. Chris Alexson wrote, another person we lost to the isolation brought on by the pandemic. He said to himself in that interview, he can't and shouldn't be left alone with his thoughts. Herb Phillipson wrote, I'm so fortunate to have shared a room with him on a few occasions. He's such a cool dude. A lot of metal guys take themselves so goddamn seriously, but these guys are just so humble and talented. Good reminder. Dan Eady wrote, good reminder to check on your mates no matter how quote-unquote happy they seem. Thanks for the video, Rob. Yeah. Yeah, man. It was rough. Yeah, just crazy. I still am kind of shocked. I'm just fucking still rattled by it. Taylor Larson wrote, I hope you found peace. Thank you for sharing your gift. Watch over us, brother. Thanks, Rob, trying to process this tragedy. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to read any more of these. Pretty tough though. But thank you for everybody for writing in. You know, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of comments here. So you know, I can't read all of them right now, but just a lot of feedback. You know, slay them before me. I love you forever and forever it shall be. You were the most brilliant and poetic lyricist in the history of metal to me, and your highs were unmatched. Grimness and your love for underground metal was insanely intense. True warrior of metal. Rest in peace. We'll miss you. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, a couple of you guys were tripped out. The influence that he had on the Blackening with the band that he turned me on to. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and then you click on Trevor, and then it's like so many Trevor things up there. Ugh. But yeah. Yeah. So we got through that. Hopefully you're processing it okay. I've got, am I going to play this? Let me see here. I'm going to play some music by Municipal Waste. I have got Tony FORESTA from Municipal Waste on here. And I tell you what, this is not going to be, if you're feeling sad or you're feeling bummed out about this horrible fucking shooting that happened in Buffalo, New York, horrific shooting. If you're feeling bad about the passing of Trevor, well, let me tell you, you're in for a treat. Because this is a pretty fucking funny interview, man. Tony's he's fucking funny. This was a good time. Not quite. It's not as funny as the Billy from Biohazard interview, which was just everybody went crazy. I haven't had that much feedback about an interview in so long. Motherfuckers loved that shit. But this was a great one. This was a really fun interview, man. And it kind of happened. It happened 2 days before all this, so we were able to, you know, I can not have to go into any of it. But yeah, Municipal Waste, killer thrash band. Check this out. This is The Art of Partying. This right here is called Headbanger Face Rip. Killer key changes. Face rip, headbanger, face rip. This is from their first album, full-length album, I should say. Not technically the first album. This is Unleash the Bastards.
Circus will fry.
This is called the Thrashing of the Christ. Banger right here. It's such a banger live. When they played this live the other day, I saw them when they were supporting Obituary. Woo! Brought the house down. This right here is called You're Cut Off. You're cut off. What can I say? You're cut off. I'm around, you're cut off. I love that. Someone tells me I get drank. They don't seem to really get what I want more. They don't really understand that it's a part of my big plan. I like to consume it till I carry out the door. You're cut off. That's what I say. You're cut off. You know it gets that. You're cut off. That's the best. That's the best. This way, what's placing this away? Is it cool if I just lay my head at the bar? I guess some folks just can't relate or understand that I've been great. Just exactly who the hell do you think you are? Opening track off of Slide and Punishment, Breathe Grease. This is Grave Dive. Not Stage Dive, bro, but Grave Dive. We dig up our damn base, the real ones account. We'll bring out the corpses and toss them all out. The body count rise as he's fed and we slay. Great drivers, he said that we play. Like that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mighty Tony FORESTA from Municipal Waste. Tony FORESTA, how you doing,
Hello.
man?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you again.
Are you drinking a Red Stripe?
No, it looks like it's just a coffee.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a beer, though.
It does.
I'm not going that big today. It's only 2 right now.
Right. You're like start a little bit later.
Well, loosen up for this interview.
Right. I've been seeing you all over Frank from Hatebreed's Instagram feed. Like you guys are just the baseball games and hanging out.
Yeah, he's like my mentor. Yeah, my Florida mentor. He like talked to me. I just moved down here a few years ago, 2 years ago. But for years, he lives by my mom on the other coast of Florida. But for years, he was trying to talk me into moving down here. And I told him I had like a plan to eventually move to Florida. And he really pushed that plan into action. He just really, so me and him are always doing fun stuff.
Right. I love Frank, man. Frank's the best.
Yeah, he's a Disney freak. They should do a movie about that guy. Documentary.
Have you guys been to Disney like 17 times already?
we did that the Epcot drinking around the world thing that he hosts.
Yes.
Yeah. So me and my lady did that, and it was outrageous. We were smart. We got a hotel room on Epcot.
Oh, there you go.
So they drove. They had like a shuttle or something.
Okay.
And they live like an hour south, but we like crawled back to the hotel room from Epcot, and we literally crawled back.
That's epic. I want to do that with him. I totally want to do that with him.
It's cool because it's people from like all walks of life. It isn't like band dudes or anything,
Right.
you know. It's just like people that are into Disney and having a good time, and so it was really cool. You learned a lot too, and you know, it was fun. It was really cool.
Yeah, the move from Richmond to Florida's done you well.
Yeah, that's a smelly. Hello,
Smelly.
Smelly. Yeah, Ella is her real name, but we call her Smelly. Yeah, it's been doing me real well. It was like, I would say like 2 months before the pandemic, or no, I'm sorry, it was a few months before, but yeah, we took like a little hiatus from. I did personally, just from all music in general. So me and my lady can move down here and like get my shit together and like have a place to live and get my bearings in order before like I leave her and go on the road, you know,
Right.
Because that's a little stressful on family life, going away so long, you know.
Right.
And then so right when I was about to get back into the swing of like perform again, the pandy hit. And we all know what the pandy did. So we fucking, you know, we had a testament tour booked, and it was like I think the shutdown happened like a few weeks before we were supposed to leave for that. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's probably kind of cool because then you're just hanging with your lady at this new spot, and
it was unbelievable. Yeah, I never realized. I feel like a lot of people went either one way or the other with that, where either they dug into their like addictions or bad behavior, or got out of it and figured out different ways to use their focus. And I definitely took a positive route out of it, and I'm real thankful for it and lucky for it. And yeah, it's been a wild experience. Like I ended up like I got a job with WWE during the during the thing. Yeah, so like they had the bubble here in St. Petersburg. It's where I live. So one of my really good friends works there, and she's like, well, you ain't doing shit. You want to come work in the bubble? You live down the road. I was like, fuck yeah. I'm like a big wrestling fan. So, yeah, I spent a lot of that time in there. And then when it moved from St. Pete to Tampa, they brought me along for that. And then I ended up like helping set up WrestleMania. And I was out there for a month at the stadium. Yeah, it was fucking awesome, man. I had a WWE van at the end of it.
Nice.
And
nice.
It was really fun. And then when they went back, started going on the road, they asked me to do that a little bit, and I fucked my knee up. Just work, help doing. I was like being a runner, like setting up, helping out the dress rooms and the catering and all that stuff. Yeah. And they wanted me to do that, and I fucked my knee up really bad. WrestleMania, not wrestling,
not wrestling.
Just like
hair broken over my knee.
It's wild backstage. You wouldn't believe it. And then so that put me out like kind of when things started getting better from the pandemic. Like I fucked my knee up. So then, you know, the show back, you know, everybody had their big show back. We were playing this festival in Las Vegas, and it was down to the wire for my surgery. Like I couldn't walk for like, I was like in bed for like 4 months.
Holy shit.
And then it was real fucked up. And so then we were like, I had to send the message to my bandmates like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this show in a few months. Like I am bedridden. I like didn't know if I was ever going to walk again. It wasn't that serious. I didn't think it was, but it just felt like it felt like dreadful. Like I didn't know how it was going to heal or whatever. It was just like a basic, I guess they call it a scope or whatever. But I don't know. It just was real fucked up, man. Like I like literally couldn't get up and down the stairs and stuff. And yeah, it sucked. But we played the show back. And it was like one of the most amazing experiences ever. So
Yeah, I mean, probably
all that
tension and everything built up, and your knee, you're probably like, it's probably a fucking giant, like, just release of energy, right?
Yeah, it's like we all get nervous. I'm sure you do too before you play, but this was a whole new ball of like, are we going to pull this off? Also, I hadn't been in a room playing music with those guys in a year.
Yeah.
And that's like, and us playing music before that was just me in the studio with them. I wasn't like, we weren't performing or anything. They were just tracking.
Right.
So besides that, it was over about 2.5 years before we were on like playing music. I never practiced with them. I was practicing by myself. And so, yeah, there was a very big, if like, are we going to pull this off? And like, literally, you know, I'm sure, you know, like the muscle memory clicks in about 2 songs in, and then you're like, oh, I know. Yeah. This is like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Get off me, man. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
do you during the pandemic, I've said this before because I really enjoyed the pandemic way more than I should probably ever say publicly. You know, like,
that's what Frank said.
It's like, I mean, you know, like you're a road dog, I'm a road dog. Like, we know, I mean, it was just, you know, forced or not, it was just like, whoa, like this is nice to just reconnect with home life and, you know, wife and kids. I got wife and kids. So it was just like, you know, like I really, you know, like it was a very positive experience for me. Like, really just great positive experience.
I think it helped me reevaluate what I want to do as far as like being an artist and like playing music and stuff. And I definitely, like, before all this shit hit the fan, I was in a bad way. Like, I was in a real fucking bad way. Like, I was doing 2 bands. I was overworked.
Right.
Like 8 months out, both bands were full on, which is like took me gone like 8 months out of the year for like, I don't even know how many years. Like, I mean, there was a time where me and Phil were like, I don't remember. We were breaking 200 shows a year for like 8 years or something. And
it's crazy. It's a lot of shows, man. Yeah.
It's fucked up, man. And like,
and you get into that groove and like, you're just in it. And like, you don't even realize how hard you're in it. You know? It's
a deadly groove, man. It can be, you know, it's like, I call it time traveling, because it was just, once you hit a certain mind frame where you just like have to be somewhere for a certain amount of time, you just kind of like I was just digging into like my stuff, you know, like just drinking extra hard and like partying way too hard, and it almost went real south, you know, like that was kind of another part of like where I was like, all right, I'm like, you know, I want to focus on my shit for a little bit. And then with this stuff happening, it just gave me a lot more extra time to like reevaluate myself and figure my shit out, because I'm trying to go the long haul, you know, like whether it's municipal waste or whatever is going on, you know, like I'm, you know, I'm not, you know, it was, man, there was times where I look back and I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? And I know what I was thinking. I was just didn't care, because I just figured I was just getting through that time, you know, that time and place. You know, it was just overworking yourself and worrying about having like so many people rely on you. It's pretty fucking scary sometimes, and it's a lot, and sometimes that pressure can really build up. I listened to the Blothar interview.
Oh, right on. Yeah, he's great, man. Fucking, he was awesome.
He lives down here by me, actually.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen him, but he lives about half an hour south of me.
Yeah, I mean, would Gwar have been a like a pivotal band for your? I mean, you guys are from Richmond. I mean, they were kind of. I mean, they were.
You know, like this, they have that joke, The Simpsons did it first. Yeah. Like, we always would run into that problem where Gwar did it first. And we were always like, fuck, man. We'd have like a good joke. And we're like, fucking Brocky. Got it. But They were, yeah, for sure. I would say like from our style of like, you know, just like sense of humor and like we've kind of made our world of like trauma-esque like thrash metal lyrics and tongue in cheek somewhat.
Right.
And yeah, I guess that was a little bit of Guar's influence on us, but more importantly, Guar like taught us how to tour. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say they influenced us very much musically, but like as far as like camaraderie and touring and like the way they run that fucking circus and like treat bands, and out of that we learned so much in the 9 weeks we first toured with them. It was like we came out of that like a totally different band. So I mean, as far as that goes, they taught us a hell of a lot.
What like, era is that when you're touring with them? And they tour hard too. Right? Like they don't take fucking hardly any days off. They're like,
yeah. That was 06, I think. Okay. That was when Corey Smoot was in the band. Corey Smoot actually recorded our second record.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we were real close with them. Dirks is still one of my best friends. He watched the Guar movie here at my house for the first time. He was down here visiting, and we just sat here and watched it. We were like crying and shit.
The documentary.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good, right?
It's really good.
It's really, really fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Like it's so well done.
Yeah, man. And Brocky was a good friend, and yeah, they were just great people. Still are. I mean, fuck, man. And getting Mike to sing was like the no-brainer move. Like, where I lived in a place called Colonial Heights, is south of Richmond, and Mike Bishop was like a fucking legend there. Like when I was in high school, like I guess he lived in Hopewell, which is a city nearby. But everybody there, all the skaters, everybody like always talked about how cool Mike Bishop was.
Yeah,
and then now he's like the singer of Guar. It's like pretty awesome.
Right, with four cocks and a vagina
and
with
a
teeth.
Pussy
and a vagina with teeth. I was like, that's so good. Because I asked him, I was like, do you have a huge cock? Like, no. But I have four cocks.
It's a good question for Guar.
It is. It's the perfect question. I was like, you're the singer of Guar. You got to have something going on.
Love him.
I fucking loved Guar, man. When I was like early 90s and I went to all those shows, and just every time, we'd wear a white shirt just to get covered in blood, and just so much fun.
Yeah, I got to see some cool shit like them early in the first time I ever saw Guar. Casey Orr kicked me in the face.
Oh yeah.
I was in high school and I jumped on stage and I grabbed Dave's sword because I'm an idiot and didn't fuck know better. And Casey Orr was Beefcake at the time. He came over and fucking clobbered me right in my fucking face. And I was like, all right, lesson learned. Don't fuck with Guar's shit. I'm glad it wasn't Bob Gorman though, because he may be like a small dude, but that guy will fuck somebody up.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I've seen that dude level people. So yeah, I lucked out by getting kicked in the face by Casey Orr.
What's your favorite tour memory from that? Is that your first tour, the Guar tour?
Oh, well, we would go do our own tours. Like, we would play houses and shit. I mean, when we started as a band, we had like 6 or 7 songs, and we went on like a 2-week tour, and we're playing like houses from Richmond to Florida all the way down. Awesome. It's like, yeah, it was killer. So I mean, we were like road maniacs, like from the get-go. But I can't remember.
I was reading that it was always like kegger parties, right?
Not always keg parties, but like the first show was definitely a crazy keg party in Richmond on New Year's, and
I think
a lot of those tour on the first tour. There's a few.
I mean, I think that's like one of those things that it's very American. First of all, it's a very American thing, a kegger party. Like they don't really have that anywhere else. It's like you're in a backyard, or you could be inside the house, and there's just a big old fucking keg of shitty beer, and everybody's shit faced, and you just rage.
Dude,
in the backyard or in the living room sometimes.
15 years ago, we played with a keg party, but in Europe with Suffocation and Benediction.
Wow.
And we were like, this is like home. Oh my God.
Right.
And everybody got shit. The dudes in Benediction got in a literal fist fight with each other.
Oh, wow.
Like, and we were like, all like, it was like a scene from like Days Confused at like the Moon Tower. We're all like standing around cheering while they're like fighting. And then they would like get up and go like, fuck you, man. And like keep hanging out, you know? I'm like, what am I, fucking high school again? This is awesome. So yeah, that was my European keg party experience. I was like the only one I think I've ever been to. Yeah. And see, Suffocation played in like a backyard. It was fucking nuts, man. Like it was great.
I mean, to me, like that's such a thrash metal thing, you know, like all my very first shows were kegger parties, you know, like we're playing in somebody's backyard or somebody's living room and you just get fucking as drunk as you can, play as fast as you can and hopefully not, you know, screw up your song.
I think you and Phil were like the first, like early on, were the first like influential guys that we met on tour, you know, like we met like Dr. No, and then we met you guys came out to there was a Curse. You guys came out to see us twice.
Yeah.
And both shows
we came out to see you in Cleveland. Or no, it was
Detroit.
Cleveland. No. Well, we played together in Detroit. Yeah, we played together. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
You guys jumped on the bill for a second, but we went and saw you. I want to say it was Cleveland, and I think it was Cannibal and Black Dahlia, and you guys were. It was Cannibal and Black Dahlia Murder were on tour. We went to that show, and then you guys were playing down the street, and we went and saw you at a bar somewhere, and it was fucking great. I think I brought you guys a tray of shots to the stage.
It was amazing. We were like, those guys are so fucking nice.
It was that killer show. It was fucking insane. It was so fucking awesome to see you guys, you know, like
we had this joke whenever you guys showed up, we would have like the worst show of all time. Like the Harpo's show was notoriously like, one time we were about 30 seconds into a song before we realized two halves of the members, the other half of the band was playing different songs. We started at the same time, two different songs. And I look back and you two are sitting on the side of the stage like,
we're like, sounds good, bro.
like, yeah, thumbs up, guys.
These guys are pretty jazzy. They're not even playing the same riffs.
And Harpo's like this legendary Detroit place, right?
Yeah,
shithole. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, I mean, the sound there,
an infamously charming shithole for sure.
Yeah, and the sound guy was not like. Of course, we didn't have our own sound guy, and the sound guy was not friendly to us from the venue. So we're just kind of like, guess this is happening right now. Like, fuck.
You know what's funny? I remember talking to you at that show. We were just hanging out before the show, and I guess was that still the Art of Partying, like 2008 or 2007, or something like that? Yeah,
that was maybe Massive, maybe in that era. We usually take like 5 years to write a record.
I just remember you guys were just like, we're so sick of partying. You said that to me. You're like, I'm so sick of partying. Because that's all, like you write a record called The Art of Partying. That's all anybody wants to do with you is party. You're like,
we knew it too. We were like when we were sitting in the practice space, right? Like when we're like, should we call the album that? We're like, yeah, it's gonna get real annoying. 20-year-old kid with a bottle of Mad Dog, like, you're not gonna drink this, man? I thought you fucking party. Like, fuck, man, I'm 45. Fuck, sorry. I'm hurting everywhere. My liver's all fucked up.
My liver's gonna puke that Mad Dog 40/40 up. It's gonna come out my pores.
So yeah, we're, especially like, yeah, it gets a bit much the older you get. But I feel like even in the song, we're like, you can be straight edge and party.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be a fucking like alcoholic or something, or, like, so we try to like set the line there, but I don't know. It was our way of like trying to bring some form of positivity into everything. And, you know, like that's kind of what we meant by that. Not like shotgunning 400 beers every night. But that's part of it.
I gotta say, it makes for a fantastic fucking show. You know, like even just watching the show, you know, like I just saw you guys when you rolled through at the Decibel obituary tour.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah. We didn't see each other. I hung out with Ryan almost the whole night, but I didn't run into you for some reason. I don't know.
I was still very COVID paranoid, and also like just not getting sick. So I was kind of like being stealth about everything. What show were you at? I
was at the Berkeley show.
Oh, fuck yeah. That was awesome.
It was a fucking rager. It was killer.
Yeah. That was really
it's just
fun.
like, it's such a fun time, you know, like you're very lovable up there. Like every song's about fucking drinking or fucking partying and it's just like, fuck. I don't know. For me, it just really took me. I mean, it always takes me back every time I see you, but it was just the fucking energy was just insane. It was awesome. Like I fucking loved it.
I feel like at the beginning of that tour, we kind of hit a stride where we're like, this tour is going to happen. You know, like I feel like even a week before it was that, you know, what was the last variant? Omicron, Megatron.
Right. Yeah, that was Megatron. This is like January or February, right? Like kind of
so it was
height of Omicron.
It was about a week. The week before, it was like when it started to maybe cool down, or they just weren't super talking about it. And we had a meeting, you know, with Albert from Decibel. We were kind of like, we're worried about going out. What are we gonna do? You know, like, and it was kind of like whatever. But everybody's just kind of like, you know, we're musicians. We always take a risk when we go on tour. You know, it's just like it's much more in your face this time. And we went and I feel like once we hit that part of the coast, we were like, everybody on the tour was like, we got this. Like this tour is going fucking down, and like we're not stopping. Like there was like a light at the end of the tunnel, and not just for like that tour in general, but it just kind of felt like the sigh of relief that kind of we're all slowly having after this fucking nightmare, you know. That felt real good. It felt real good to be doing that.
The show was slammed and people were raging. It was like, you know, it was a good vibe.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
What is there a lot of you know, I've been talking to a lot of touring people who are just getting back into touring right now. Was there like a thing with like pre-sales are super low, but then giant spike right before the show happens? Is that kind of what's going on?
I feel like that the walk up is starting to be a thing, which we always kind of walked up a lot of people because I feel like our fans just don't give a shit about buying tickets. Right. They don't really plan very far in advance, you know. They just kind of go with it. Right. Now, so yeah, I definitely you can definitely see a spike in walk ups for
right
sure.
On.
Yeah,
right on. Like,
I don't know. I heard
as opposed to prior to the pandemic, you might not have seen that big of a walk up.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it would have been more people buying tickets. Now people are just kind of like, maybe it'll happen.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to
gotten let down a lot here.
I'm still waiting to get my money back from all those other tours that I bought. Right.
I know, right? What is it, Live Nation? I don't know.
Yes. Hell, crazy. I got a buddy who's got like $500 worth of tickets that he's still waiting to get money back because they keep on rescheduling. So every time they reschedule, you can't get your money back. Because the tour's still happening.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's such a bummer. But yeah. Well, it seems like, knock on wood, that we're through it.
Yeah. You got a new record coming out too.
Yeah. We recorded it Electrified Brain.
Electrified Brain.
On Nuclear Blast Records. And we recorded during the pandemic, and we went up to Philly, and it was still it wasn't like super red hot, but it was definitely before all the variants. And we kind of slipped into Philly. I flew in from Florida, and that was the first time I saw my bandmates, you know, like in a year or whatever. So we were all kind of like, "What up, dude?" We were like mailing. They would practice, and they would mail me the songs, and then I would like write the lyrics.
They still live around each other, everybody?
Yeah, they all live in Richmond. Yeah. Cool. We actually practice at the Guar spot.
Oh, right on.
So they were practicing when they could. And so they would, do their thing and then send me the songs. And so, yeah, it was kind of fun writing a record like that, like just being away from it. And I would like, if I wanted to like reconstruct a song or something wasn't working out, I met a guy like right next door to me who was like into like punk, like he was like RKL's like his favorite band. Like you don't meet a lot. Yeah. You don't meet a lot of people like that.
Keep laughing.
Yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah.
And so we were like
RKL.
Yeah, man. And so I was like, and he knew, of course, knew us and stuff. So that was really cool. And he was like an audio engineer. So I was going over there and like rearranging parts of songs when needed. And then I demoed the record like 4 times. I've never done that in my life.
That's killer.
I would always do like one demo, maybe. Like I would have like Massive Aggressive. I think I only demoed like 5 of the songs, like I would just have them handwritten everywhere. This thing, I was like, read it every song like 4 times, like send it back to them. They'd be like, oh, you say that word weird, or that part sucks, or that's too much, and vice versa, like it was cool. It was not as stressful. Me trying to explain a riff to my bandmates in the practice space while they're like trying to write songs. Like I don't play an instrument, but I would imagine that's got to be the most nerve-wracking shit in the world. Like, that part where you're like, like do that shit like 4 times, dude. They're like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, I mean, normally you'd be writing with the band, right? Like you'd just be jamming. And kind of, do you freestyle? Like, do you have to have like lyrics written to be able to try something, or can you just make shit up off the top of your head?
I definitely have done that writing music. Phil's fucking great. Like, with that, like I could mouth some shit, and Phil would almost nail it. Like,
oh wow!
A lot of times that was a lot for Iron Reagan. I would do shit like that, but yeah, that Phil's just a fucking genius, man. There's something in that guy's brain that's like he can just get things real fast.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, we've done all kinds of shit like that. I like the whisper demo. That's my favorite thing. I don't know if you do that where you're like, if you're like in your house and you got an idea, or you like record on your phone, you're like, singing the lyrics like this, just so you can remember the vocal pattern.
Right.
Then you send that to your bandmates, and that's some weird shit.
Right. They're just like, what is this?
They're like playing it in the car with their girlfriend or something. And, who knows what's going on. It's like weird shit. I'm going to kill you. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool though, man. That's what a great way to write it, and great way to make use of this crazy time, and like you just adapt and do it this new way and try it some new way.
Yeah, I started a band down here, in St. Petersburg with Paul from Cannibal Corpse. So that's just like
sick.
Yeah, that's been a real fun project too. That's been going on. So
what's that called?
It's cool, man.
What's that called?
It's called Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. Okay.
Yeah.
Like after the cult? That cult? Yeah.
Well, we're going to call it Heaven's Gate, Florida, okay. Like the Florida chapter or whatever. But okay. Yeah. So we recorded with Arthur Risk. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he just did the Creator record, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He did all the Power Trip stuff.
Yes.
You
recorded your parts at home or with your audio engineer guy there?
Yeah, and then we sent it to Arthur.
This guy mixed it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would just, I don't know how you do your stuff, but I was worried about traveling, getting up there, getting sick,
right,
and just being able to have what I have here, and to be able to like send it off, gave me like I could work on it for weeks, and get the sound I wanted to. And me and that guy are like clicking too, like creatively.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine like some of your earlier records, you probably did like all the vocals in like 1 or 2 days or something, right?
Oh yeah, I would
like
imagine.
No time to do
first
any changes or like
4 records. Yeah, fuck. Ryan did Waste Them All. He did all. I think he did all the guitar takes, like first take, one like in the take, and then that's it. He double it up.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's that record's wild, man. I go back, and then my vocals on that are like, "Wah!" Like the whole time. Like, and that was, I think we did that whole record in like 2 days or a day. Like, it's a lot different now. We have time.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more pickier in our at our age. We're like, oh, like there's gonna be more than like our 20 friends listening to this, so maybe we should put a little bit more time into it.
Yeah, and it's nice to have to have the money to do that, and like a little bit of time to like, okay, could this be better? Or...
Yeah, and I feel like, man, Nuclear Blast has been so rad to us. Like, it's just, we're real stoked to be on that label, and they've just been like, we'll throw some wacky idea. Like, we have a lot of really cool shit in the works, and we'll throw some wacky ideas their way. And they're just like, well, all right, yeah, okay. So it's cool. We have like 3 videos in the works.
Killer.
We just did a video with Norman Cabrera, and like fucking Rick Baker was there, and it's just like all this crazy horror effects, and
killer.
It was fucking incredible, man. Like I was like, I'm living like my dreams as a child. Like, like it was insane, man. Like, yeah, it's just really fucking cool. So yeah, I mean, we have I'm extremely happy with how the record came out, and the sound of it, and all the other shit that is like snowballing from those songs. Like, I don't know when this will air, but if it's after the 19th, we'll have another song out at that time. So.
Yeah, this will come out. Yeah, you got Grave Dive out right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then thanks. And then and then we'll have a song in a week and a half. Another song.
And the record drops when?
July. I should probably know that. July. I think it's July.
I want to say it's July. Yeah.
Well, it's gotten pushed around so many times. I know the vinyl.
The fucking vinyl
with the pandy, the vinyl.
Right, the fucking vinyl, man. Yeah. It's like fucking 9 month wait for vinyl. It's like, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Because fucking Drake is, printing 300,000 pieces of vinyl, like, you bastard.
Man, if I had money, I would do whatever I could to start a pressing plant, because that's where the money is. And I said that shit 20 years ago. I was like, that's where the money is. You own a pressing plant. Now it's like crazy. It's like owning a house or something.
Fucking A. Now, I saw the vinyl you got a bunch of cool vinyl variants going, right? The splatter and the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit.
You guys do that too?
Yeah. I think that I think we're only doing black vinyl for like retail. Like, it seems like everybody just wants the crazy shit, so we're like,
I prefer black vinyl.
Yeah.
And they say it sounds better.
Right. I've heard that too.
But now I've heard it sounds better, and then now they're like, oh no, that was just how it used to be. It's not like that anymore. But I'm like, black probably still sounds better.
Yeah. I used to have like picture discs and stuff. I used to have a Witchfinder General picture disc. Remember that band? They were kind of like a doomy sludge band, very Sabbathy.
Yeah.
And it was of their first album. It was like dudes all dressed up in like 1800s wear, and then like a chick with her fucking tits all hanging out
on a picture disc.
I was like, on a picture disc. I was like, this is the best picture disc ever.
Here, look at this.
I had it on my wall.
There's my vibe.
Oh shit! Sick.
I'm showing them my record collection for people listening.
What's all the art on the background?
Oh, this is just I got a ton of art. I have art all over the fucking place.
Is this your art, or is this like friends?
No, just stuff that mostly band related or friends. Like, that's like, this is like my hot sauce. And this is Halsey. That was like a Waste shirt, or that was a Napalm Death tour. This is a Rick Clayton. Rick, I don't know if Rick Clayton did all the Suicidal Tendencies artwork, like those gnarly skulls. And
wow.
Yeah, that's like an original of his. Here's the fucking Art of Partying cover. That's the original.
Oh, that's the original. Sick.
Yeah,
wow,
man.
That's awesome.
I got that one. Yeah. I got a lot of crazy.
That's all ink or paint? I mean,
yeah. This right here is my baby though. This is my Check Your Head. My Check Your Head LP autographed by all three of the Beastie Boys.
Oh shit, dude, that's like, sick.
It's my favorite.
But it's good stuff, man. Yeah, that's cool. I never knew that. You find out all kinds of things like when you talk to people like this. Like that's kind of cool.
Next time you're in Florida, yeah, definitely check it out. St. Pete is just a really cool town. It's really beautiful, and like the metal shows are fucking sick, man. We have like this really beautiful venue. You probably played there called Janus Landing. Yeah. That's where I saw the Beastie Boys there when I was a kid. It was the first show I ever went to. It was Beastie Boys shit. There.
That's your first show. Huh? That's a good first show, man.
Yeah,
really
my mom dropped me off, and I sat there all day. I listened to them sound check. They came up to me in St. Petersburg. Okay. Yeah.
Because
I grew up here.
Okay.
Yeah, and they moved me up there when I was in high school, and then they moved back. I stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird.
You kind of grew up in St. Pete.
Both. I mean, yeah, but I really didn't get into music as far as like the scene or punk scene or metal scene until I moved to Richmond. That's like where I really they took me.
Were your parents split up? Is that why you were going back?
Yeah, that was pretty much the
time with dad in Richmond and mom in St. Pete.
Yeah, opposite, but yeah,
okay,
exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then my mom's like, "I want to move back to Florida," and I'm like, "I'm not moving again." I went to 3 different high schools. It was crazy, man. So I claim both Richmond and Florida. I love both those places very much.
Yeah,
Florida. I mean, St. Petersburg.
So your mom takes you to Beastie Boys. So you're obviously you're like MTV kid probably, and you're loving the Beastie Boys, and you're like, "Mom, take me to the Beastie Boys."
Yeah, Rollins band opened.
Oh shit! Wow.
So I was standing in the very front row, and Rollins spitting in my face, and I was waiting for the Beastie Boys to play. I had no idea. How does
Rollins
a legend band, on stage?
Does Rollins band go over good, or are people just kind of like, eh?
From what I remember, it was a mixed feelings. But once I left, I bought a Rollins band CD, and then got into Black Flag. I did everything opposite.
Right.
I was a '90s kid, so it was Lollapalooza. Everything's mixed together. You're into I'm into rap, and I'm into fucking
metal and punk.
Mazzy Star Rules, Pavement Sick, and DRI, and it's what?
No, I gotta say, Beastie Boys though. I've seen the Beastie Boys. Fuck man, I saw the Beastie Boys probably 20 times, and they were always a killer band live. Fucking great. I saw them as their rap version most of the times, but I saw them tour with Sick of It All, where they did their punk.
Yeah.
And then
they were telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Lou was I didn't know that they toured together.
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, we toured with Sick of It All one of the many times. And Lou's he's we toured with them. We were probably talking about it. He goes, we toured with them, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we did a tour with Beastie Boys." And then he started explaining to me all the shit. He said they would take them snowboarding, Beastie Boys. They would just take Sick of It All snowboarding and shit when they were had a day off. I'm like, "Fuck, God, that sounds so crazy." It's
that sounds fun as fuck.
Right?
I'd love to go snowboarding with the Beastie Boys. That would be fucking a blast.
I'd love to see them with Sick of It All,
Right. You know what? It was a cool thing too, because this was the height of it's the height of Intergalactic. So they're fucking, it's fucking massive, dude. It's just they're into the stratosphere. That record's huge.
Yeah.
And then they just go and they're like, we're going to do a punk tour, like, and just play like underplay. They just play 300 and 400 seat clubs, and we're taking Sick of It All. And I was just like, I heard about it because I knew some of the Sick of It All dudes, and I was like, you have to get me in to this show.
You gotta love it. You gotta love that. That's so respectable,
And it was good. And, they Sick of It All, like I don't know what the audience expected, like it wasn't. I think the audience was hoping for Intergalactic and Paul's Boutique and,
Yeah. They probably didn't even know that there used to be a punk band.
Yeah, they're like, they're only playing the punk, the first album and like, that kind of halfway album after it where it was like half punk and like half rap or whatever it was.
Yeah. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I got to, me and my girlfriend went to see, we were at the filming of the movie the first night in Philly. They I don't know if you saw the Beastie Boys movie on
no, I haven't.
On Apple Plus, whatever, but it's like a live show and they kind of go through like a slideshow, like the history of their lives. And I was sitting like Spike Jones is like, I was sitting in the seat in front of his editing spot, and I was like getting chills. It was just crazy being a part of that, like be able to see that. And then the next day we went to Gettysburg and stayed at one of the most haunted hotels in the world.
What's that?
I forget the name of it, but it's wild. It's like where the Gettysburg battle happened, but on the side of the building, it's just littered with bullet holes still from the Civil War.
Wow.
And we went and stayed in it's like a bed and breakfast deal. And the room looks all old. It's like dolls and shit in it.
Okay.
And
dolls? Oh wow, that'd be creepy.
Like, I mean, it's just like old, yeah. And like what smelled like an old place and everything. It's apparently like super haunted. I slept like a baby, but my girlfriend was just like up all night, like it's like
those fucking dolls are looking at me.
It was a great weekend. And then and then we went and saw Hatebreed play. So played with Hatebreed actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right on. Awesome.
Great weekend.
Yeah, that does sound like a good one. Yeah, the Beastie Boys. I was crazy about. Did you ever go like backwards? Did you get into Paul's Boutique by the Beastie Boys?
Oh, that's like one of my favorite records. Yeah.
I mean, that record's like that's like a top 10 desert island record for me.
Yeah.
Fucking love Paul's Boutique. Like,
me too.
Just top to bottom. It's a fucking. It's a genius record.
You should really watch that movie because that whole era is real funny because like they were like down and out. Like they like you always kind of thought that band was just like everybody loved them, but there was like a real low in their career. And it was like Paul's Boutique.
People didn't like Paul's Boutique when it came out. Like they were like, "Where's the fight for your right to party, man?" Like
I fucking love that shit when it came out, man. I love that shit. I was doing Beastie Boys songs in my middle school like talent show, like two of my friends that didn't really know the words, awesome. But I'm like crap my ass off. I love ad rock. I did that in elementary school, middle school and high school. I did Beastie Boys with my friends.
That's killer.
And I was always ad rock. I had to be ad rock. He was my favorite.
He was the man. I liked ad rock. Ad rock with it. MCA was cool too, and I never.
Yeah, they're all great.
I loved Mike D. But he had some funny rhymes, but I don't know. Ad Rock was my dude. Like,
it's funny now. I watch interviews and I'm kind of like flippy. Like I kind of go. I don't want to talk shit on them because they're like my favorite. All of them rule. But like Mike D. And that, like once you watch that movie, you're kind of like, oh, Mike D's like hilarious, man. He like.
Yeah, he always had a good. He had a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, especially like the Paul's Boutique era too. He was just like getting fucked up, like raging. But another real funny thing about that is that time frame of the band. I'll quit talking about Beastie Boys. But they had like a closet, like so Capitol Records like gave them all this money to stay in LA for like a long time. So they used the budget for the album to rent out this like old like famous disco lady's house that lived in the hills.
Okay.
So that Hey Ladies video where they're like in the pool and everybody's wearing like all these crazy 70s outfits. And like Mike B's got like, basically they were just partying there one night and broke open this closet that they weren't supposed to get into. And it was just full of 70s clothes.
Oh shit.
So that video is just that from them like raiding the closet and like putting clothes on and like walking around. And they would like just start going out in public dressed like that. And I was like, that's just so funny. Like to me, like I can't imagine how much fun those dudes were having at that point in time. Where their career, they were just like, we're probably done. Like, let's just blow all this.
Well, you gotta remember too, and I could talk about the Beastie Boys forever, so we don't need to move on. Like they were. I mean, I remember like I was a teenager, like I was a pretty young teenager, but I was like still like I was going out like on the strip and like, you know, you'd hear cars cruising. Like that was when cruising was very popular in the Bay Area. Like, yeah. Just be like hundreds of cars just driving up and down the street. And I remember there was a time when every single car that drove by was playing the Beastie Boys. I mean, there wasn't a single car not playing Fight for Your Right to Party or Brass Monkey or, you know, any of that shit. And I was like, holy fuck, like this is a thing. Like these guys, like it's just crazy. And then that, and you know, what did they sell? Like 6 or 7 million copies. Like it's just, it's a phenomenon. They've got fucking Carrie King is in the fucking No Sleep Till Brooklyn video. And like,
they toured with Madonna.
Right.
They opened for Madonna on a Like a Virgin tour.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Right.
Like,
right. But they were just insane. So fucking big. And then they go out with Run DMC. And that's when it's like, okay, like, you know, this is a rap. This is like real rap, and like, you know, you can appreciate it because it's Run DMC is giving them the blessing. And and then they come out, you know, they find out like all this shit about Rick Rubin. You know, Rick Rubin and Def Jam have kind of ripped them off like blind. They've got barely any money. And then they're like, we want off the fucking label. Like, fuck you. They have this big fallout with Def Jam. Then they get signed to Capitol, and it's like Capitol doesn't know where to put them. They're like, we don't. What's the disco like with the disco clothes? Like we want to, you know, we want you to barge into the Jock's house and smash shit. Like we don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's like it was a big deal. Was the whole Fight for Your Right to Party or 2? They want, you know, they kept saying that we want part 2,
right?
And they're like, we don't. Like
they're like, we want to make a legit hip hop record. Like we're hip hop. We want to make a fucking real hip hop record, you know. We're
smoking weed now. We're not crushing Budweisers.
we're smoking dust.
Smoking dust. But yeah, fuck, that was really cool to be able to see that. Like one of the first like records I ever got, or not even mine. I snuck into my brother's room and took his License to Ill cassette. And we throw a little Beastie Boys references sometimes in our shit. Like we do a music video for Fatal Feast, and there's like a spaceship in it. Like we did this like us on a spaceship, and on the side of the plane on the Beastie Boys cover it says 3M TA3, which is Eat Me backwards. And so we put that on our spaceship. Nice. So we had the same number as the plane on License to Ill, like our spaceship.
That's fucking too good. That is too good.
We like to sneak shit in there like that, see if people notice.
Does anybody ever notice? Does anybody? Oh my god!
I think I've seen a couple. Thing. Yeah, I think I've seen a couple people make comments. Not as many as I'd hoped, but you know.
Right. What
that's a good thing, I guess.
What songs? What Beastie Boys songs are you doing for your talent shows?
One year it was Shake Your Rump, and then it was. So I did it 3 times. Shake Your Rump. That's on Paul's Boutique.
Yeah, that's the jam right there.
So then I did. What was it? There were definitely it was Pass the Mic. And there was one off of Ill Communication too. I can't even remember what song that was. So I did it 3 times.
Okay. No sabotage or anything?
No, okay. Too easy. I gotta be rapping.
Right. Can you still remember the Paul's Boutique rap? or sorry, the shake your rump rap.
I'll rock
House
party at the drop of a hat.
And I'll beat a bite it down with the loon in the bat. A lot of people, they be jonesing just to hear me rock the mic. They be staring at the radio,
staying up all night.
So like a pimp.
I'm pimping. All right, we got to go back and forth.
All right. So like a
we got to
pimp.
practice this. Right. I'm pimping.
Nothing wrong with my legs, just B-boy limping.
Arrested at the Mardi Gras for jumping on the float.
My man MCA's got a beard like a billy goat. Ooh, ooh, is my disco
I was gonna get heard about. You're like, ooh, ooh.
Is my disco call MCA? I'm getting roped, y'all. Routines, I bust sentence of rhymes that I write, and I'll be busting routines and rhymes on like eating burgers and chicken, and you be eating your nose.
And I'm on
time, homie. That's how it goes. You heard my style, but I think you missed the point. It's the joint.
The video is great because he's taking a bong. He's like taking bong hits.
Right.
That VHS tape is so sick, and you can't fucking find it anywhere.
I was gonna say, what's that? What's the VHS tape?
I have it, but it's a fucked up VHS tape.
What is it like? It's Paul's Boutique.
It's all the videos from. Well, there's a Lights of the Ill one, and then there's one that's like that era Paul's Boutique videos, and there's like all like videos for like B-sides and shit. And they were just like go out in a park. You ever Georgie's Girl? It's like Georgie's Girl. It's like Mike D singing. But anyway, it's like all those videos, and they the what the fuck was that called? There's the License to Ill VHS tape, and then the one Skills to Pay the Bills.
Okay.
The second VHS tape. That fucking thing was more influential to me than any of their albums because I watched that fucking VHS tape religiously, and it was just their videos and their energy, and it was like there was like graffiti art and just skateboarding and like just fun shit, and it really was influential to me, like making me want to play music like that. Like I want to have fun, like I want to put that out there, that kind of like fun energy, like here's what we're fucking doing, and you should be doing this too,
right?
You know, like enjoying your time on this earth, you know.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to hear. You know, that's really cool how influential that was. You know, I can like as I'm thinking about Municipal Waste, I can totally see that. You know, like,
I mean, honestly, I swear, like that was like the idea was to be like a sort of thrash metal version of the Beastie Boys in my brain. Not like, I'm sure Ryan's perception of it is 100 times different, but that's what makes us the band we are, you know, like there's different ideas getting pushed in there, and we're both very stubborn, and you know, we both like to push our thing in there, you know, so it's good.
Yeah. Where do you guys meet?
I think one of the first times I hung out with Ryan was at DRI show. Actually, it's like one of my like we played shows together. I was in like a like skate punk kind of band called JRS, and he was in this band called the Flesh Eating Creeps, and we would play shows together. Ryan was an amazing bass player. And so he was like in this like kind of sloppy punk band that was awesome. But he was up there just like just
shredding,
walking the dog.
Yeah.
But we would always.
Well, and what is JRS? What's that stand for?
James River Scratch. I should pull out one of the 7-inches. We did a record on Beer City Records, like a skateboard company.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like my band when I was in high school. Like we were, you know, started, and then just kind of like put a 7-inch out. It took us like 2 years to write and record and release a 7-inch. That's how we were back then. And we met at one of the shows we played together, or one of the shows like that we were at. I remember we were really hanging hard at the DRI show, punishing the hell out of Kurt. I don't think he remembers that, but I have photos.
So you guys were, you're talking to the DRI guys, like you get.
Oh yeah. Kurt was, Kurt's my buddy. We're homies.
Yeah.
But back then we were just little kids that were like, standing by the merch table while he's trying to sell shirts, staring at
Right.
him, asking him fucking every annoying question in the world. Yeah.
Can you remember what album that is? Is that like Four of a Kind? Or I'm trying to think of later DRI records.
I would say, no, it was like
Thrash Zone or Dealing with It or something.
I don't even think they were on an album cycle. It was like late. Right. I mean, this is 2000, 99.
Yeah.
I don't know. When was the last like full studio album they did?
They had one more
Definition.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Definition.
That one after. Yes. Yeah,
I saw them. I lived in Florida because I saw the Definition tour in Florida.
Okay.
So yeah, it was after that, and I think that was like they were probably just doing a little tour or something.
Right.
So it's funny. The punishment continues for DRI because we recorded our first 7-inch at my house where I was living. Sounds like it was recorded at my house too, and we went and quickly loaded up our gear, and we're like, we're gonna go to the DRI show. We're like, well, our gear's in the car, so we're just gonna go play the DRI show. And so we showed up. Brought our gear, carried our gear in, and we're like, oh, we're the opening band. And the club's like, cool, all right.
That's awesome.
That
is fucking so ballsy.
Set our shit up and played. And we're like, they're going to love us. They're going to see us, and they're going to love us. And we played.
This is Waste? This is Municipal Waste?
This is Municipal Waste. Oh, yeah. This is like literally the day we finished recording our first 7-inch. And we set up, we played. And they didn't see us. They weren't there. Right. They were at the hotel room or wherever the fuck they're.
Right.
We had dinner. They're not watching us. I think there was like 10 people in the room. We're like, hell yeah. And we got the hell out of there before they realized
But then on top of the fact that you boldly went in and blagged your way onto being on it, opening the DRI show, you then had the cred to be like, well, we just opened for DRI, so you got to put us on more shows because now we're opening for DRI.
We're established musicians now.
We're professional. We're professional now.
Yeah. Those are the days.
Was DRI
Ryan
that night?
Ryan was great. Yeah, they're great. Yeah. It was a small show, like upstairs at this bar. I think the bar's still there in Richmond called McCormick's. Yeah. They're great.
They were my DRI was my second thrash. I don't know if I call it thrash. My second punk metal whatever show that I ever went to. My first one was Exciter on the Heavy Metal Maniac tour.
Oh wow!
And then DRI was the DRI on the Violent Pacification EP.
Oh my god, that's
a record release show for the Violent Pacification EP. And
yeah, that's pretty fucking sick.
It was wild. It was like me and my friend Leroy, and then there was these two punk rock girls who we knew, and they had an older brother who was a metalhead, and so we knew them because of the older brother because we were metalheads. But we became friends with them, and they're like, fuck all that metal shit. You need to go to a punk show, and we're like, yeah, like okay, take us. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go. So they were like all friends with the SF Skins. And that's like all the skinhead crew that was fucking ran SF at that point. And this is before kind of, San Francisco at this point was very much like just like it was in a depression, like fucking buildings where there's squats everywhere, abandoned buildings everywhere. Way before the tech boom ever happened. And,
is this before they lived there?
No, they lived there. Yeah, they lived there. Okay, they had just lived there. Kurt was living in a tree.
Oh, I know about this. I heard about this. He wrote a book about it.
They were telling, it's actually a great book. I read that. We did he gave me that book. I forgot about that. The girls that were just like, yeah, he lives in a tree. We're like, holy shit, that's crazy. So we get there and they're taking us to all these fucking squats where these skinheads live and all these punk rockers live. And it's fucking gnarly. Like it's fucking like, we're just like 15-year-old suburban kids. These motherfuckers are like shooting heroin and fucking, we're like, oh my God, this is nuts. And, we go in there and the SF Skins, like they're fucking big, gnarly fucking mean dudes. And we get in there and we're just like, we've got hair. Like, I'm like trying to cover my hair with my flannel. I'm like, oh my God. And we walk in and this, I'll never forget it. The long-haired dude with really long hair comes in. He like pays his $5 to get in, and he like starts kind of like walking in all tough. And this big skinhead named Dagger, who's like the leader, the name's Dagger, just walks up and he goes, boom, no long hairs, and just drops the dude like out cold. And we're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. Like, we're gonna fucking die.
So tucking your hair in a hat.
I know. I'm like, my flannel's going up higher now. I'm like, fuck. And they play. I can't even remember who opened, but they start playing, and it's just like a 45-minute long fight. Like, it's just nothing.
Oh my God.
Huge linebacker sized skinheads just fighting, and fucking at one point some dude jumps up and he breaks a bottle and he fucking just stabs it into his thing and he starts smearing the blood, and then he just stage dives back into the ground. I'm like, holy shit.
I mean,
it was insane. It was fucking
seeing them at that era in that town, like, holy fucking shit, man. That's like watching an early Slayer show or something, I would imagine, like, as far as violence goes, or insanity, right?
I mean,
like,
it was terrifying and thrilling. And I left there going, I need more of this. Like, I need more of this. Like, I got to go do this. This is what I want to be around this all the time.
Yeah, they were very, very influential on us as well. We love like Gangrene and like, fucking The Accused. The Accused is like fucking really big influence for us too. We played the last show, one of the last shows in the Bay Area with Tommy and Blaine.
Oh shit,
the same band together, because now they don't play together, sadly.
Right. Yeah, Martha Splatterhead was a sick record.
I just bought that, sitting right here. I just bought a reissue of that, sitting right next to me.
Killer.
Yeah, my buddy has a skate shop in Melbourne, Florida, and he was selling that, and I was like, my copies beat the hell. I'm gonna buy this so I can keep listening to it. It's one of the best records.
Yeah, Violence played a show with them back in the day. GBH Accused and Violence, but I didn't.
Holy shit, dude!
I got to know. I didn't get to know. We didn't really talk to any of them at that point. I got to know Tommy later on when he was in that grunge band Grunt Truck.
Yeah.
And he was a super nice guy, like the fucking coolest guy, like just super nice guy.
If there's any Accused fans listening, my buddy Jared turned me on to he has this band. I don't know if they're active or whatever, but it's called Water Ghost.
Okay.
Which is like, that's such a cool band name.
It is.
But if you look up on YouTube, Water Ghost, thrash or I don't know, whatever, fucking, you can find it and it rips. It's like that gnarly Tommy guitar tone, and it's just like fucking killer shit. Like whenever I meet an Accused fan, like in the past year or so, that since I've heard it, I've been telling people about it, like, yo, check this shit out, man. It's like pretty nasty. I don't know how old it is or anything. And another thing, if for Accused fans that people might not know exists, there's a band from Florida called Denial Fiend, and for some reason, I'm not sure exactly what happened, Terry Butler's in it, and there's a fucking record where Blaine sings on it, and it fucking smokes, dude. It fucking smokes. So yeah, if you're ever looking for, if you're trying to do a deep dive on Accused shit,
Denial Fiend.
Denial Fiend. Yeah, I don't even. I've been trying to get. I've been punishing Terry to get me a copy of the LP because I want it. So if you hear that shit, hear it, Terry. Fucking mail me that shit.
What's the next video for Electrified Brain? Electrified. Why am I not? Can I say that? Electrified Brain.
I like it.
Electrified. It could work too.
Yeah, it's delicious. We have two things. I'm not sure which is going to come out first, but the video that we just shot with Norman Cabrera, look him up on IMDb. It's fucked up. Like
Okay.
the shit that he look up Norman Cabrera on IMDb. Like the dude has been a part of so much incredibly cool shit. He did like the makeup effects for Hellboy.
Oh,
He
killer.
did. All right. Do you remember Summer School with Mark Harmon? Remember that movie?
Mm-mm.
This is a deep cut. All right. Well, all right. There's this movie from the 80s called Summer School, starring Mark Harmon.
Like a slasher flick?
No, it's like a comedy, but there's these two characters in it where these two young kids, and the kid has like Fangoria shit and mask and gore everywhere, and his name's Chainsaw. And they're Chainsaw and Dave, and they're like the kids, the comedy relief in the show.
Okay.
Anyway, the character Chainsaw is based on Norman when he was a kid. Whoever wrote the movie fucking knew him and was like wrote this character about him. And I remembered it as a kid, like growing up. Anyway, Norman has been involved in special effects, horror, in that scene since back then, and he's a fucking genius, and working with him is pretty incredible. So yeah, that we have like a music video coming out with him. That should be, it's got to be within a month. And then we have an animated video that's coming out real soon too that we haven't even seen yet either. We've seen like, let's say it's like 60% done right now. We're just like biting our nails because we know it's like so cool. Like it's the animated shit. I was like cry laughing. Like it's so
it's
over
funny.
the top.
It's like
it's over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
are you animated? Are you animated in it?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it, yes,
oh, yeah.
That's killer. Did you give yourself like total like Thundercats bodies and
oh, that's so funny. I was like, can you make me not look as fat as the last time? Because he did. So he didn't make me buff or anything, but he hooked me up a little bit. I'm on the animation diet, I guess. So like, I was like, the last video they animated one for us. Fuck man, probably like 8 years ago or something, and yeah, like it's like big round face, like, and I'm like, yeah, all right, that's me, I get it, but come on, man, make me look like a punk a little bit. Sorry, I keep looking down at my dog. My dog's being really cute right now. She's very cute.
Nice. Take me back to growing up. Take me back to young Tony FORESTA.
All right. Where you want to go here?
When
you want to go Virginia?
Are yeah, I mean I don't know if it's Florida or Virginia where it starts, but are your parents musical? Like are you exposed to music a lot like through them?
My mom was in choir. Yeah, my mom was in choir, but yeah, that's about it. My dad's not very artistic at all. He was like, when we were kids, he was like the mean Italian gangster kind of dad. I mean, he just works hard, just like kind of intimidated everyone in the neighborhood. But he ended up being he's a cool ass dude now. So we get along really well. Maybe when we were younger, it was a little different, but now he's pretty fucking awesome. And my mom is killer. She was always supportive of my shit, even though it caused conflict in their relationship. Like I was just not good in school. I was a handful. I partied really hard.
Really? Even at that young age? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean not like young.
I wasn't like doing blow and shit or anything like that, but I was like, I drank a good amount. Like I would say when I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Like,
but when you're just like a kid, you're not like, are you just into sports? Are you into like Star Wars or anything? Or like,
yeah, I was on the wrestling team. I was in the Star Wars. I surfed a lot. Like down here, I was like hanging out with like a lot of the surfers.
Oh yeah.
That's how one of my fucking good friends here, or a friend like moving back here. It's cool moving back here too after like so many years, it's a couple decades. Like I'm running it shit like almost 30 years. Like, but yeah, it's like I'm running into people that, and I'm remembering things like, oh, like you fucking snuck me out of my house when I was 16 to go see DRI. Like, that's crazy. Like, remember that? He's like, yeah, I remember that. Like, my buddy would, you know, I'll see that guy every once in a while too. But yeah, so it was like I hung out with some of the older like surfers.
Are your parents are together though, like for a while you're young, and then they split up?
You know, they were on and off for a long time until
okay.
I got out of high school, basically. But it was weird. You know, my dad has started like had his family business, which I can't even really explain it. It's like involving microchips and shit. And like at the time he was getting that off the ground, and where he needed to be was on the other coast of Florida. So he was driving back and forth, and they were kind of fighting. I was sucking in school. I have another brother who has cerebral palsy. And I have an older brother. So I'm the youngest of three, and we're all like, you know, a handful in our own way. In our own ways.
Cerebral palsy is the one where your spine kind of.
Yeah, it has something to do with like not getting enough oxygen during the childbirth. So yeah, he can't walk. He can't.
Wow.
He can't really talk, but he can communicate. Like I can talk to him. You know, people that have lived with him or been around him a lot. Like we can talk, but I feel like if a stranger, they wouldn't know what he would be saying. You know,
that's
so it's like pretty extreme. It's pretty extreme. So my mom had a lot of fucking shit to deal with, and I was like last on the list of problems, and I was also very creative. I got accepted into this like gifted kind of school here. Not gifted. It's like fame or something. That's a terrible way to describe it, but it's like the Center for the Arts, and that was in ninth grade. And I tried to do that. She knew that I was more into like creative kind of stuff, but none of us really knew what. They just knew I was weird and like, yeah, you know, into.
You're into horror at this point? Like you're really into horror as a kid?
Not so much. No, I didn't really get into horror until I moved to Richmond. Like I was into movies and stuff like that, but I didn't really get into like the whole genre or like the crazy stuff until like I moved. That's when I moved. I could skate. I wasn't very good. I wasn't even that great of a surfer, but I was obsessed with it. So we would go out there and either surf or skimboard like every day. Like there's not a lot of waves on this coast, but when there was, like we were always out there. We'd skip school if we had to, you know, and just to do that. And then when my dad worked on the other coast, that's Melbourne. That's where Kelly Slater's from. That's like a big surf area. So back then, I mean, this is like 91, 92. I was like going over there and like surfing all the fucking time. Now I can't even paddle out. I don't think. Like I tried it one
I'm
time.
sure you could. You could probably do it, and it probably just comes back.
I tried it in California, and it was not cool. And I go, oh, you know what? I think I'm good. I said, I think I don't want to do this ever again.
The last time I surfed, I was paddling out and I started getting a cramp in my neck. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, just having to hold your neck up all that time. Like, I'm fuck.
I respect my friends that still do it. Randy fucking, you know, lived in Virginia and surfs his ass off, man. Yeah. And I you know, in a way I wish I could have stuck with it, but I'm also like, there's no way. So I also like don't really have the body for it. I'm kind of like short and stocky, so I'm not gonna be like doing aerials and shit. Like, you know, I'm like look pretty dumb.
When do you get into a band? Like what
that was when I moved to Virginia.
Who gets you in the band? Do you just go, I'm gonna start a band, or does somebody go, hey, you seem like you're the singer, you should be in a band?
I was wanting to be in a band because I was jealous of my best friend who lives down here, who we're actually still fucking great friends. He's like my family now. Like, we've been close friends since we were like a couple years old. Like we lived in the neighborhood together. He started playing drums in a band down here, right right before I moved. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And he ended up being a great drummer. He still is a great drummer. And, So they were doing I moved, to Virginia, and all the friends I used to hang out in my neighborhood, like started jamming together, and they were doing like Screeching Weasel, like Ramonesy kind of like, not pop punk, but like rock and rolly, like pop punk, like, Ramones style.
Early 70s
yeah.
punk.
Yeah. And like sort of like that. Yeah. And they look like the funnest shit in the world. And I was kind of like, man, that's like, and he was also partially responsible for like getting me into music and going to shows. I was like a little bit older than him, so when we were at that age, I was able to like go to shows. Like I would go to like the bigger shows in Florida, in this area. Like I would see Danzig, or I would see like, I saw Helmet and the Jesus Lizard, and like
right.
I went to a couple punk shows. Like I saw the Pink Lincolns at this place called Blue Chair, I think it was called. But like when I really like, what really got me like figuring out what I wanted to do was when I moved to Richmond, and I met with this guy named Matt Mills, who was like this like incredible ball of energy, who was also one of the funniest people I ever met, but he was obsessed with horror movies, like fucking obsessed with horror movies. He was a sick fucking drummer, and we were inseparable. Like the second I moved to Virginia, and then he was just like, "Hey, did you hear this? Did you hear this?" Like we went I remember we went and saw Korn open for House of Pain, and there was like 10 people there when Korn played, right. And we saw Korn, and we're like hanging out with them, and they were like, we were like partying with them. Now it's like they would never fucking know that or care or remember, but back then it was like, oh, these guys are cool, yeah. Like, but we were really.
Are you hanging out with Monkey?
I actually remember that name. And then there was the bass player at the time. I know Rod's playing with him now, so I don't know if this guy. This was literally like a couple months. That House of Pain tour.
Yeah. Was Biohazard on that?
Biohazard, yeah.
I saw that in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they didn't play the Richmond show or something, but I can't remember. But anyway, like we were kind of like we really, really loved like the Richmond scene, and we were watching that shit pop off.
Did you catch House of Pain on that night too?
Honestly, I did see House of Pain. He had like pink hair. Everlast had like pink hair, right? Okay. Or no, not, yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did see that. But
right on.
But yeah, that was
it didn't blow you away or anything.
We were more like, holy shit, Korn. Okay.
Okay.
We're like, what is this? That guy had bagpipes. That was wild. Right. I'm in like fucking 11th grade. I was like, holy shit.
He's talking about faggots. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, at that time, you gotta admit, Korn was pretty extreme.
It was awesome.
Like, that was like,
it was great.
You're being a person going, think you're gonna go see Jump Around, and then this band comes out. It's like, like
totally.
That probably shocked a lot of people at that time.
I guess I'm a faggot. Like you're like, whoa. Yeah, like. You didn't hear anybody saying that at the time. It's a very masculine scene.
Yeah. So then I think once we started like getting into like the Richmond bands, and that was when Richmond was fucking insane. There was like Born Against, and you had Avail, and then like Four Walls Falling, and there was just all these like, even like the high school bands were like incredible, and of course Guar, like that was when fucking Guar was like fucking crazy, like Live from Antarctica a little later after that, but you know what I mean. It was like that was like when the Flood Zone was still popping off, and I saw Avail and Rancid at the Flood Zone. Rancid played before Avail, and so that was when we were like, whoa. This is what I want to be a part of. This is like what I want to do for me, especially. And so we started playing music in my mom's barn. She had a little house with a barn south of Richmond. and it was so bad. We were so bad, but we did it, and we just kept writing songs, and we had our high
you
school
and your
band.
buddy who plays drums.
Yeah. He ended up, like fast forward a million years later, me and him, not even a million years, probably like 5 or 6 years later, me and him moved to Long Beach
California?
For a year. And he ended up joining Phobia for a hot minute. Yeah. So that was like cool. And so we just really loved that Richmond scene. And we started like, we were from Colonial Heights though. So we were like the rednecks that would come up and try to, hey, we like punk too, and like we were trying to, play with these bands that we really liked. And, we almost like looked up to the Richmond bands because they were from, the city.
Right.
And we were from outside, and we were even like looking up to like bands that were like our age or younger, and we were just like, oh, wow, this is so cool what they're doing. And it like influenced me to like, you can set up your own fucking shows. You're in charge of your shit, your band shit. So that's kind of what we did. And we started setting up these parties, backyard keggers.
Yes.
But in Colonial Heights area, so this is like 30 miles, no, about 20 miles south of Richmond, which back then, especially for city kids, it's like fucking
I was gonna say, it doesn't seem far, but it's fucking far.
Yeah. So we started inviting the Richmond bands to play these parties, and we would put them on, and we would go get the wood pallets from behind the grocery store at the Food Lion and make a fucking stage out of them.
Nice.
We put them out in a fucking field and get a couple extension cords from the house, go out in this big ass field, and there was like fucking 500 people showing up out to these fucking shows. And it really like a lot of our friends in Richmond were just like, what the fuck is going on down there? And it would be like rednecks, and like there'd be some punks, and there'd be fights, and like, frat guys, but they like love the bands. They would, so we kind of had a camaraderie going with these Richmond bands. And then we were like doing our own thing too. Like we, my buddy that drummed, he was the manager of this movie theater, and I was the projectionist. So we like pretty much had full run of like a huge AMC movie theater. So after hours, we'd throw parties there. So we'd have band practice there, and it was fucking wild, man. It was really, really crazy time.
That's cool.
And then we were pen pals, like tape traders.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing that shit. We were trading like live, like
legs,
VHS tapes.
Oh, okay.
Like shows and stuff. Like, so we tell, you want this live Jesus Lizard show, or like Misfits, fucking, real shitty 20 million times dubbed over Misfits bootleg videotape, and then we trade me that and I'll trade you this shit. So we met this guy Jason Hodges, who played in the band called Suppression, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna move to Richmond and we'll all live together. And that kind of got us living in Richmond. And I just started setting up shows in Richmond because I already was doing it in Colonial Heights. So it's like, I always had the mentality, like, if nobody's going to book your band, book your fucking band yourself and do it yourself, just like, so we would set, I booked house shows in Richmond. I booked a house show for Pig Destroyer in like 90.
Wow. Crazy.
98, 97.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Like, it was like right when they started. Yeah. I mean, I wish I knew the years right, but long fucking time ago, but, so yeah, it was kind of like our whole thing is where it's always just like, we're doing this regardless, if we're cool or not. And it just, then we just ended up getting a lot of friends from that and just building like this whole crazy Richmond thing. And, we loved it.
Lemmy says that the reason dudes get in a band is to get laid. And then if they tell you otherwise, they're lying. So do you start a band to get laid? Do you get laid because you're in a band for the first time?
Maybe that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm handsome.
You're a good looking guy. You're a lovable guy.
You are too. We got good teeth. So I don't know. I mean, usually everything Lemmy says is pretty much spot on. So,
Right.
I'm not going to argue with Lemmy.
Is the first time that you get laid, is there a horror movie playing in the background? Is there a record playing in the background?
No, it was like Toto or something.
Toto.
I wasn't in a band. I wasn't in a band.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, like not in this case, Lemmy. It was before I was in a band. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So Toto in the background. Why
it was
Toto?
like, I think it was just like in the other room. But I remember it was like something like
Rosanna.
something at the time. Like I would fuck with some of that, but like at the time I was not into it. Like music wise.
Right.
Getting laid, I was probably into it.
Yeah. I mean, so if you was before you were in a band, you were probably like 14 or 15 or something? 16?
No, I was like 17.
Okay, yeah. And Toto's in the background. You don't remember the song or anything?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Was it her choice to put on Toto?
No. It was like they were like people in the other room. Like,
okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so Toto's just playing.
Yeah. It was nobody.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was like we were like snuck off into a room.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I haven't thought about that in like a long ass time. It's funny. It's a funny question.
You'd be amazed how many people lost their virginity to Slayer.
Man, I think that's bullshit. I call bullshit on that. They're just like saying that shit to be like the metal person.
I tell you what, I've had a couple of people. I can't name any names because they asked me specifically to cut it out of the show or whatever. But like, you would be totally shocked at the people that like lost their virginity to Slayer and then asked me to take it out. Like, I can't have that end up in in public. And I'm like, why? I'm like, you're 10 times cooler because you got laid to Slayer for the first time. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's like not Toto.
Yeah, I'm like, leave it in. Like, you just went up 10 points.
I wish I knew it. I wish I knew what the song was, but I was so nervous.
Right, of course.
Like there's.
Are you drunk? Are you sober? Are you drunk with the first?
Yeah, I was sober. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I took her on a date to Pizza Hut.
Nice.
In Richmond, there was a Pizza Hut in Richmond.
Nice.
I think it's still there.
That's quite charming.
Across from the Science Museum, we went back to Clown Heights.
I think I paid for wine coolers because I wasn't old enough to buy alcohol.
Wow!
I wasn't old enough to buy alcohol. California coolers.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, nice. Oh man, this has been a great conversation, dude. You're going back on tour, right? Like I see like you guys got like a ton of dates with so many fucking bands. It's crazy. Like you're supporting Circle Jerks, right? You're going out with
we just did the Circle Jerks.
Oh, okay. You just did it. Okay.
Our plan of attack for the time being is like with COVID, you plan shit like months and months in advance. But I was kind of like, well, everything's still so up in the air. Why don't we just spread it out a little bit and just do like little areas and do like let's do Northeast, let's do Northwest, let's do the middle, let's do that. So we were kind of starting to plan that while like it was still up in the air. It's heartbreaking to cancel a tour. Canceling a tour that's only a week long is not as heartbreaking.
Right.
So we were kind of like trying to have a good plan of action for like, okay, let's just do like short runs, month apart, and see what works. And that way, we're not out on the road for 3 weeks and then all of a sudden somebody gets it or the venues start closing down or so. So it was kind of playing it a little safe, but I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. Like being able to like curate different tours with like bands we like and to kind of just do whatever the fuck we want to do.
Right.
It's a weird way to go about it, where maybe it's not as lucrative, but I feel like it's more fun.
Yeah. No, that's killer. That's awesome.
Yeah. That was the plan for that, at least.
Are you doing Europe? You doing festivals or anything?
We were supposed to do a lot of festivals in Europe, but Europe's still like, I think now it's better, but you have to plan Europe so far in advance. When it was going down, we were kind of like, let's just come back next year when everything's chill. So the few shows we did have, we had some pretty cool festival things. We just were like, book us next year. We're not going to go out there and risk doing this. So yeah, we pulled out, but we are going out in September with Anthrax, and that's definitely happening. And that's like
in Europe.
Yeah, that's going to be like, it's like 6 or 9 weeks or something. Yeah. And they're doing, it's like the Among the Living anniversary or something like that. It's it's going to be really fun. You know, of course we love them. It's like a big influence on us. So yeah, it's going to be
toured with them before, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Did you tour with them on another Among the Living cycle?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah.
Actually, it was.
I think I saw you guys on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what the fuck was that? That was I think High on Fire was on that too.
Yeah.
That was really good. But yeah, so I mean that's great for us. So luckily, and that'll be when the record's out as well too. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Some of the European festivals are getting canceled for the war now, so like that's a whole other thing that's going on.
That's so sad and fucked up, and such a bummer.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah, but good for you guys, man. No, I'm stoked for you. You got your record coming out, Electrified, not Electrified, Electrified Brain.
Electrified Brain. Electrified Bane.
July, right? July. Yeah, one more plug for your thing.
Yeah, thanks for plugging it. Yeah. Thanks for remembering to plug it, because my dumb ass will just keep talking about the Beastie Boys.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right there, that was the mighty Tony FORESTA from the mighty Municipal Waste. No fucking regrets.